Welcome to In Heels with Keni Silva, and today's guest is a woman who rebuilt herself more than once. Welcome, Erika Luren.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I know that you just drove all the way from Vegas.
Yes.
So tell me, was Vegas your first destination, or how did you get there?
I actually am from Ohio originally, and I was born in Cleveland, and I saw a lot of people just kind of stay in Ohio. It's very like Midwest. So you get married young and you stay there. Your husband works in a factory, you're a housewife, and that was it. But I always had aspirations of doing much more, like getting out of Ohio and like the great beyond. And California was definitely on my list, but I ended up in Vegas through working in dermatology.
So you moved for work, or?
I did. So I started out in dermatology, and I've been in that for a long time. And there was a position open in California that I saw. But the doctor there was like, hey, can you go to Vegas for like a year? And I was like, oh, I don't know about Vegas. Like, I don't want to live on the Strip, and where do humans live there sort of thing. But I'm like, okay, there's actually housing like outside of Vegas. That looks nice. So I ended up moving there and like staying there pretty much. But
you were also going through divorce at the same time.
Yeah, I moved with my ex-husband to Vegas, and I had 2 small children at the time.
So you moved being married, or you moved, okay, so you still relocated, you were married.
Yes, I was still married.
But I guess Vegas just added a little extra for you to realize something has to change.
Yes. I think, moving in general is very stressful.
Very stressful.
And then small children, and we didn't know anyone there. So I had no support system either. He did not like it there, and I moved there like reluctantly and ended up like loving it. So it was like total opposite reaction to the place. I'm like, there's so much to do here. There's concerts and, shows.
This is the life you wanted, but you never had.
Yes. And it was so different than Ohio. It's like, in Ohio, I was the girl who kind of stood out in an odd way because I liked fashion, and I wore a lot of dresses and jewelry.
Well, I can tell you're wearing this beautiful dress. By the way, this was just a coincidence, that we're wearing this thing, that this was not planned. We didn't match. It just happened. Which
good energy.
It's a good energy. Exactly. I mean, we were, thinking alike that this is the color for today.
Yes.
So I guess for your husband, it was really hard, because I know for men going and changing their life, they're not as adaptable as women. Mm-hmm. We adapt to everything. You put me in the middle of the desert, I'll figure it out, especially when you're a mother, because you kind of have no choice. Mm-hmm. And that's what I talk a lot about, that women are resilient, not just because we're stronger, because we have no choice. We are responsible for, children. Mm-hmm. And for men, it's much easier to say, you know what, I don't like it, I want to go back. They're not trying hard enough to make it work. It's much easier to give up and go back to their routine and, old life.
That's true. Being a mother, though, I feel like you have this sort of like push, like you have this responsibility, and it's different than being a father. Like those children come out of your body,
yes.
like
9 months, they're in you. Like
yes.
You feel them already. You're so emotionally attached to them.
Yes. And you're always thinking about like what's best for them. You're always in mom mode, like the area you live in, the schooling, their nutrition, everything you think about and do, especially when they're younger, is like laser focused on your kids.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes in the mix, maybe the husband gets a little bit like pushed to the side also with that, because you're just
I agree, because it's just, you only have, you and your energy and timing is divided by, you have 2 kids by 3 people.
True.
And of course, kids always get a little bit more time. Mm-hmm. So somebody has to be pushed. And so what happened? Did your ex-husband stay?
So yes, he actually stayed there, and it was very amicable. Like I'm pretty like even killed. So we're just kind of like, we're going to separate, and this is how things are going. And the kids mostly stayed with me. So I was like full-time working and then mostly taking care of the kids. And he was more kind of like fun dad, like, let's go with dad and go to like hiking or like, I don't know, Dave and Buster's or whatever, you know, fun stuff.
Were you scared to be in a new state with children, single?
Yes, it was a big transition. I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. There's times where you're kind of thinking, you're like sitting in bed at night, like, how is this going to go? And trying to figure out the right route. But I feel like things fall into place eventually. Like you get through the hardest parts, even things you don't think are imaginable to get through. Even the emotion of it, and you're strong for your kids. You want to look strong and be that mom they can also admire and feel safe with and know that the world around them is safe and taken care of. So,
yeah, so I guess I always say this, divorce gets so scary so fast, and it's just a survival skill in you that keeps you going through it. Mm-hmm. And you really cannot, like stop. It's just a process that you just doing. And that's why I wrote a book, to make it easy and guide you through that. A lot of things it's not that you can avoid them. It's just you can prepare for them. And especially for the future after. And it's great that you guys, amicable, and it was great. But still, it's just even the feeling that I remember my biggest feeling was like, wow, it's just me now.
Yes.
There is nobody like I can call, not that I can, but it's just like the feeling that, okay, well, if something happens to what's going to be to children, like now you are the head of the household.
And then even like something as simple as you get a flat tire, it's like, well, yes. I got AAA now because I don't have my husband to fix this.
I did the same thing. You learn to figure out things very quickly.
Yes.
In the beginning, it's like, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I'm like, well, there's people that live alone their whole life, like they survive somehow. So you start figuring out things and then you get to the point where you're like, you know what? I don't really need anybody.
Yeah. You're like organize things. And now with like modern technology, it's like, I feel like everything's at the touch of a button. So you can just be like, I need help, like with whatever it is, and have someone come over and do it. So
do you think it was easy in a sense being out of state to get divorced versus being in your own community, surrounded by your friends, surrounded by your parents, and feeling like you're being judged for what you guys?
I think definitely it was. But I mean, back home in Ohio, it's, so much more conservative too. Yes. Like, I think they looked at us getting divorced as kind of like slightly shameful. Like, why are you getting divorced? Like, we stay together forever in Ohio. It's very different. And here on the West Coast, I feel like divorce is more common probably than Ohio.
Yes.
So I did end up meeting a lot of women who had been through divorces, and a lot of women who moved to Vegas, and that happened. Like, they say the rate of divorce in Vegas, like when a new couple moves there, is like much higher than across the country. I think there's just more temptation for either side and too much going on. A lot of beautiful women, it's like... that's where
the marriage gets the testing. But that's so true, because also, I would imagine in Ohio, and I've never been, but you also, when you're surrounded by people that kind of tell you that you have to stick through thick and thin, and this is how, okay, people argue, people fall out of love, but they continue being together. It's like a path they already, see you. So it's not like you even think about it, that you have a choice. Like you said, you always wanted other things, but there was no choice for it. So it's almost like, okay, well, I guess this is it.
Yeah. Well, especially because I got married younger. I was like, I think I was 19 when I met him. We got married at like 22. Looking back now, being in my 40s, I'm like, that is really young. Like, I didn't know who I was as a woman at that point in time. Like, I was still growing into who I would become. So as I started to mature and like really figure out like what I wanted in life, we were like diverging paths. So he was pretty happy status quo. And I'm like, I want to learn this. I want to get another master's degree. I want to do this. So we were like totally like opposed in what we were looking at as a future.
Which is true, because in 20s you want one thing, in 30s you want the other thing. And in 40s, I think this is where the knowledge comes, who you are, what do you want to do, who you want to be, how you value your time. And, you know, like there's such a big shift, I feel like with me, happens once I turned 40. It was like the life before and after. And it's not good or bad. It was just completely different. It's just you start valuing your time, and the love comes that if before everybody else were before me, you know, like meaning my time would be given to them. Now I'm like, it's my time. It's my time to take care of myself. That's why I'm so happy I had my kids early, because, you know, like we kind of were growing up together in a sense, like you probably were.
Yes.
And now my kids are teenagers, and I'm like, well, now like I have time for, like, I'm discovering so many amazing things, and I feel like I'm in the same, like they're going to go to college, and I'm like, oh, I'm still learning so many, you know, things about me, about life. And with this day technology, you have to learn every day something new.
You definitely like discover yourself more as you get into that like middle age sort of category. And I feel like you become more comfortable in like your skin and who you are, and representing like who's inside to the outside. It's not as fake anymore. It's not like you're worried about what other people will say. At least I feel like that. It's like, whatever, this is who I am. You don't like it, oh well, you know?
Exactly, because you start loving being just, you know, you love yourself, and you start loving being with yourself if there's no one around you. You don't need that company of people who wants you to be somebody else. You're not.
I even find at night, like I'll get invites to go out different places. And at this point in my life, I'm like, my bed looks really comfy. And all I want to do is get in my pajamas and just like relax. I'm like, I'm just going to hide. Like,
oh my God, that's how I'm me. I'm like, oh my God, like, you know what? I want to stay home. I just want to work on my projects. Like it brings me more joy these days than just going out and waste my energy on, you know, like small talks. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, I feel like I'm in a different space right now.
Exactly.
Where like I love being by myself and doing things for me.
And then even work. I feel like once you find something you really love doing, then you're like,
it's addiction.
Yes, you can spend like hours just doing that, and time flies by, and next thing you know, it's like 10 at night and you're like, oh, I guess I should go to bed, and I didn't eat dinner, but
So how did you start thinking about doing something for yourself and opening a spa?
Well, after the divorce, I felt like I definitely went through a transition where I was like, I need to find out who I am again. I've been like mom and wife and taking care of everyone else. And I'm like, I want to feel feminine again. I want to like gain like my sexy back again. So I'm like, I'm going to do a pageant.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Wait, how old were you?
I was like 35.
Wow, I love that. I mean, that's definitely confidence booster.
Yes.
Because I think it could go either or. You either have to be extremely confident, because being on stage, being judged through all this woman, and, you know, like if they don't pick you, there's kind of reflection, you know, in some way, but at the same time, that's amazing. You know, just to step forward at 35 and like, I want to do beauty pageant. Okay, so tell me more about this. How did you even come up with this thing? Like you saw an ad or?
Well, I had done some pageants when I was younger. I was in like Miss Teen USA and things like that. And then I was at some sort of social event, and the pageant director was like, you should apply for our pageant. And I'm like, I'm old. I'm like in my 30s. Do you know that? He's like, no, it's like older women. I'm like, And then I thought about it, and I was like, I want to lose some weight. I want to get like feminine again and not feel like a mom who's just in her sweatpants all the time anymore. So I'm like, this would be motivation, because I know I'm going to have to be on that stage in a swimsuit. So
that's a definite motivation. This is like, okay, how many months I have to prep? This is like, I need to start yesterday.
Yes. So it really helped, because I had that in my head, like, oh my gosh, you're going to be under lights in a swimsuit. So I started like working out, and like I was eating better, and just kind of focusing on like, how do I want my style to be, and things that were kind of internal and external. And the more I did for myself on the external end, it really affected the internal. Like I started feeling better. I started feeling more like me again. Like I wasn't just mom and wife. I was Erika. finally. So that started.
That's a beautiful life hack. If you went through divorce and you want to feel yourself, apply for a beauty pageant. I never heard this before. Like, that's not in my book. That's a new one. And it's amazing. I mean, I love that.
Right.
This is such a beautiful thing. How many, so all the women are on that age spectrum.
Mm-hmm. So it was all like, it's a Miss pageant. So
they're all not married. They're all either divorced or just single. Okay.
Yes. So I ended up doing that. I won Miss Las Vegas 2015.
Wow, congratulations. You should have brought your, the sash. It's like, okay. I love that.
And that really helped because I also learned from other women in the pageant. I was like looking, how do they do their hair? And what kind of like outfits are they wearing? Like, because again, I was from Ohio and stuck in like a total different fashion sense, like overalls probably and like flannel. So I was like, this is like Vegas West Coast style. So it was a learning experiment. And then it boosted my self-esteem. I'm like, oh my God, I did this. Like I prepared, I lost the weight. Like I did this.
Yes. It's definitely, for your self-confidence, just to get ready, just to, mentally be prepared to be judged.
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of women struggle with, other people judging them for so many things, but you purposely wanted to be judged for their how you look, which is like, wow, you have to be very secure with yourself to do it, especially after going through divorce, because a lot of times when you go through divorce, your security level, you are not as confident because you feel like, just emotional, state. You just went through the whole roller coaster and here you are. I applaud to you for doing that. How many days does it go, the whole pageant?
So it was just one day.
Okay.
And we had to do questions on stage. We had swimsuit, we had evening gown. And then you had like one other outfit that was just like a fun outfit. So we had to do
Was there a lot of divorcees?
There were quite a few actually, yeah. So it was.
Did you bond easier with them? Because everybody kind of on the same, wavelength starting over?
There weren't as many as I would think there would be, but I guess.
Well, it's Vegas. I don't get married, I guess, till later on.
Yeah, right. But we didn't really talk so much on that. I think we were just talking because there's so many transplants that moved to Vegas, just about life and how to transition there. So that was pretty neat to hear their perspective of like, where do I go to meet friends, like other girlfriends, or where do people hang out, that sort of thing. Because
I think for people who just go to Vegas for gambling like me, we only know that Strip, but for people who live there, has to be so much more. The communities, the stores, the places where locals go, so for you moving there and your whole family and not knowing everybody, you had to discover the whole new culture.
Yes. So I had to make friends quickly because I didn't know one person. So, that was part of it too. I was like, I get to meet other women and like make friends.
Do you still friends with any of them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And it's been over 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, right.
Wow.
That seems a long time ago.
So after the beauty pageant, now you feel, most amazing and winning. What happened next?
So then I'm working in dermatology and I'm in the mindset then of like, okay, like I'm aging, I'm in my 30s and I'm starting to see things changes in my own skin and taking care of other skin all day long. And at my job, they were like, hey, we need someone to do aesthetics. We want you to learn how to do injectables. And I'm like, I don't think I want to do that. And they're like, well, the other person here is a guy and he's from New York and he's definitely not interested in doing this. So they threw me in, started training me. And along the way, I was like, I love this. This is so fun. I get to make women more beautiful. They leave and they're so excited. They're so happy. I see their spirits go up and I'm like, this is amazing.
But you knew how to inject people before. You have a nursing degree, correct?
Well, different type of injections. So, that
yes,
was like...
but it's not something like, it's like, okay, well, just inject. Like, okay, like I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah. It was a total different training for like doing like Botox, fillers, stuff like that. And there's a great artistry to being able to do that. Like, not only do you have to know the science of like what's underneath the skin, where's the muscle, where's the fat tissue, you have to know like symmetry on a person and be able to look at them and point like, hey, you need a little here to balance things out because everyone's so different.
Yes.
So it was like really interesting. And as I was doing that, I never thought I'd do like any Botox or filler on myself, but I'm like looking and I'm like, well, my patients look amazing. So I think it's time to start doing this to myself.
But you still were working for somebody else.
Yeah, at that point in time I was. But I think that started my trajectory of like working on the outside and then slowly moving into the inside of medicine. From then, after I'd been in like dermatology, probably like 10, 12 years, you know, you can walk in a room, you're like acne, psoriasis, like just so quick, make a diagnosis because I had seen so much over so many like years that I was doing it. And I wanted more of a challenge. So I actually started my own skincare line.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Because I had tried like all the skincare lines that were on the market being in derm. I got everything for free. So I knew like what I didn't like, whether it was the smell or this doesn't work well or this price point is too much for the people in Vegas. So I kind of like researched manufacturers, decided like what chemicals I wanted in each and started my own skincare line. So that was.
Do you still have it?
I do. I'm rebranding it right now. It's going to be called like Auralume Skin Rituals. So I'm like redoing everything, but it's what I use on my skin every day. So
how many products do you guys have?
So I have morning and night. I have several products, but I have a retinol and a vitamin C and a hyaluronic acid, kojic acid, like all kinds of different ingredients for brightening and tightening. So
what do you feel like people, when they come to, you know, your wellness center, what do they feel like the biggest problem? It's aging?
Yeah, most people aging inside and out. So skin aging, definitely people come to me and talk to me about things. They're usually getting like melasma or that.
Yes, that's what I had after my children. Like that was,
Yes.
you know, something I'm like, I inherited with them.
Yes.
His melasma, you know, like unfortunately it's not something you can get rid of. It's always there. Just sometimes it gets better, it gets worse, but it's there. I have it. And it's my number one, for me, problem. And what I look, when I look at my skin in the morning.
That's what you see.
I was like, that's what I see. I'm like,
Yes.
oh my God.
It's a chronic condition, but it can improve and you have to have a maintenance for it. So a lot of people think there's just like a cure for everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, not something like that. It's like you're constantly working to keep the discoloration on the face down. So there are definitely things you can do with that.
Melasma, is it something also I can avoid eating by also what I intake that can help with it or not?
Not so much what you intake besides vitamins, like things like glutathione.
Yes,
And
that helps me a lot.
Yes.
When I do injections, oh my God, that really whitens my skin beautifully.
It helps it to be more glowy. So
Yes.
master antioxidant gets rid of some of those like toxins, especially like free radicals and toxins from the sun. So it helps repair. But a lot of things are going to be topical and hormonal.
Okay, so what is the hormonal? Do any hormonal pills help or?
So having your hormones balanced is actually going to be helpful. A lot of times if you think about pregnancy, when your hormones are like shifting
Yes.
so much and you get the melasma, which they call the mask of pregnancy, it's this hormonal shift. So pigment is caused by that. It's caused by heat.
Yes, they even told me
Sunlight.
from cell phone radiation, which I was shocked.
Yes.
And I was like, wait a minute. It's like, and you know, I remember talking to the doctor and she's like, yes, a lot of people during pandemic, because they're always on their phone, had more, you know, like the melasma was coming out more than even being in the sun.
Yes.
Because it's the radiation from that.
On a certain side. And you'll notice the side of your face that hits the window of the car that you drive on, your left.
You're so right, because this is the side I always have like this little spot that just drives me crazy.
Yes. So that I tell women, always make sure you're using your sunscreen and like the visor down, your glasses while you're in the car too. So you protect your under eye area as well.
Okay, now it's like it makes, I mean, I always think about that, you know, because I'm like, when I drive, I feel the heat, the sun. But then when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God, it's so strange. Like it's always on this side. And now you said, I'm like, okay, I have to be more careful because this is, you know, true. I always and I drive a lot, so it's always this side. I have to figure something out. There has to be something like
shade.
Exactly. But I know it's illegal to have even a tinted window in the front. But, I have to be more careful with that because this is the area exactly where it always hits, in the sun.
Yeah, you just have to work a little harder on that area.
So you built your med spa. How did it started to have your own business?
So
that's a lot of guts to even, first you have to figure it out, it's like this is not working for somebody. This is actually, having your own business and being the boss and being responsible for so many people.
True. It actually started, so the skincare thing, it started from that. So once I launched that and I was like, oh, I'd let to have it in here to give to patients. It's more affordable than the other lines we have. And I asked the office and they were like, no, that's competing with our other lines. It was at that moment that I was like, I have reached a glass ceiling in what I'm doing because I've been in it so long and now I can't get any further. If I'm going to move along my trajectory, I'm going to have to leave and literally start my own business. So it was for that I actually left and I kind of thought, well, I need some other things to do. I need to be hands-on with clients. So the whole idea of making a med spa then came to fruition. And I was like, okay, we're going to do my skincare line. We're going to do the med spa. I'm going to continue doing Botox, fillers, lasers, PDO threads, all these things. And I'm going to do it on my own. I've been in this industry long enough. I can do this. So.
Oh my God, that's so brave because not only, but I guess once you go through divorce, like I always say, once you go through divorce, nothing scares you because it's actually the same implements. You're on your own. You have to figure it out. You're responsible for the others. And just, I would imagine just proper budgeting and knowing what you're doing. And since you've been in this business for so long, in that sense, it was a little bit easier, but I'm pretty sure it was so much work just to start, to find the right place. And how many employees did you start with? Were you just you?
It was just me. And I only got one room somewhere when I first started, in someone else's med spa. And it eventually got so busy over a few months that I was like, I think I need my own space because my clients were filling up their waiting room. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I think this is my sign from the universe, time to move on. And then I got my own clinic. It was 1,700 square feet and started there. And it was just, I eventually did hire a secretary. It was just me and her for a really long time.
And what about now? How many people you have?
Well, now I'm in a big transition again.
Oh, we're moving now. I'm curious. Okay.
So I ended up getting a partner by year 5, and it didn't work. It went downhill. So that felt honestly, a bad divorce, probably worse than
that's what I've heard. When you have a partner in business and then things don't go well, this is like a divorce because basically you moving apart, but you're also dividing properties. So it's exactly the feeling. The only good thing, you don't have to share kids and, you never have to see that person again. But I'm pretty sure that was also impactful on you just going up so fast and then something just slowed you down.
And then it's how do you navigate that downturn? So at that point, it was okay, this is the age I am. My kids are now older. My son's going off to college. My daughter's in high school. Where do you really want to be right now? Where is your soul calling you to? Because this is the time in your life where you need to jump on this and follow the path that feels right for you. And then it was telemedicine, doing hormones, weight loss, bioidentical hormone therapy, and peptides, and also doing aesthetics on the side. So now I have an online business for that portion, and then I still see my aesthetic clients on the side and rebranding my skincare. So a little bit of everything, but just kind of split up now.
Where do you see right now the whole beauty industry is going? Because I hear peptides, every corner, everywhere is peptides, which I'm taking myself peptides glow. And I'm like, wow, it looks like finally people are saying it's not just what you put on the outside. It's actually everything comes from within. So if you start fixing, from within, it will radiate to the outside.
Yes. So that was the next concept in my own self-awareness and learning and my career journey. Starting out, on the outside of the skin, dermatology, and then starting to inject on the inside of the skin to make people more youthful. And then moving on to like, okay, I've done the surface. How do I change from the inside out? And that is peptides, that is hormones, that is helping the cells in the body to repair and helping to optimize and balance out as we get into perimenopause, all those hormones that are like, you know, going roller coaster. And
yes.
That was an exciting new frontier. I was like, yes, something new.
So for premenopause, there's a special testing that you go for your hormones, and they're the ones who can indicate if you need more, you know, some supplements or boost.
So I do, all of my clients, I'll take like a very in-depth intake about their history, like what symptoms are they having? How do they feel? And then I'll also look at the hormones. The problem is with like modern type of medicine, when they give you the parameters of hormones, those hormone parameters were made a long time ago. They're kind of, I feel like, outdated. And you're looking at something that's generalizing for the whole population. But when you were 25 or 30, your hormone levels were at this end. As you get into your 35 to 40, they're down here. So that is why you don't feel good. You go to your doctor and you're like, I feel tired all the time. I can't sleep at night. I feel hot. I'm gaining weight, because you had a shift, and they're not taking account for that. But when we do functional medicine, what I'm doing, we do take account for that. We're like, how are you feeling right here? And that's when I start to optimize. Like, we're going to bring you back up here, closer to when you were age 25 to 30. And that is not something that they would do in dogmatic regular medicine.
So it's not something that you can take a blood test and see your hormonal panel.
You can. So I do the blood test.
Okay.
And I still look, because I also want to make sure when I put you on hormone therapy, you're not getting too high or too low. I want to kind of balance between what I see and then the symptoms that you're having. So it's fine tuning, like your hormones should really be a symphony in your body. They have to be really aligned between your estradiol and your progesterone and your testosterone. So it is a lot of fine tuning, like a comprehensive sort of thing of that, of how the person feels.
So there's, for everybody, every woman, it's a little bit different depending on what, you know, she's going through.
Yes. So definitely, like, depending on what stage of perimenopause, when you first hit perimenopause, it's basically progesterone starting to dive down. And when that happens, you don't actually have symptoms till probably years later of it starting to dive. By the time you get to that point, it's quite low. And then second phase, you're starting to actually dive down on your estradiol. So, and then you get menopause and everything just bottoms out and flatlines, basically.
Okay, so what age you would recommend for women to start getting her hormonal panels?
I would actually recommend, they don't do this yet, but now that I've been through it, when you were about 25 to 30, I would say getting a baseline. I would start teaching our daughters that, you know, like, so they know, like, oh, this is where I was at when I was young and youthful and felt amazing.
Well, I actually, because my daughter had adrenal tumor and she was 14. And at 13, when I took her to the doctor, they did just the blood work. And then the year later, because she still didn't have her period, I brought them and I said, check her hormones. And I thought the first year they should have done the full blood work of hormones and things, because it's not just a 25, because these days, you know, a lot of girls suffer with a lot of different things they don't know. You know, the weights, even the periods, like, because a lot of girls, like mine didn't, but a lot of girls having too young, you know, they have their periods at such a young age, which is like devastating. It's like 11. I'm like, wait, the hormones have to be off. So I feel like even, you know, the pediatrician has to make that determination with girls very young to see like, hey, is everything okay? And then I agree, 20, 25 is when, you know, the baseline still, you know, when you were in your 40s, okay, this is where we have to match to.
Well, I think the crazy thing is in medicine, they're so quick to put like a young girl on birth control pills.
Yes.
Which is hormones. It's estrogen, it's progestin, but they won't check the hormones beforehand because they're like, you're young, you're fine. But maybe they're not, because we actually have a lot of what's called xenoestrogens now in the environment.
What is that?
It's a toxin, basically. So it's in plastics and things like that. And it affects our hormones. So you're seeing a lot of kids who are like drinking out of the plastic bottles.
Yes, and I'm guilty of that.
Right? And in our food supply and different toxins, that is changing our hormonal levels at a younger age. And they're not accounting for that. Because again, that's like dogmatic medicine versus functional wellness medicine. It's a totally different thought process. And med school, they're not really teaching that. So.
So if you miss the 25-year mark for hormones, okay, I guess then as soon as you can, right?
Yeah, get a level. Yeah.
And then once you're in your 40s, you can start seeing if there's any drops.
Yes. So around like late 30s, early 40s is usually when a lot of women are going to transition and start like having a drop in hormones. And you'll feel it. You'll just think like, oh, something feels off. I don't feel as good as I used to. And all those things, like I'm not sleeping as well. I feel so fatigued. I feel moody. You know, I'm more anxious, or loss of libido. You're like looking at your partner like, I could go without that. Right? All of those things are signs of your hormones shifting. And women just think they're stressed out, and that's why they're feeling like that. It's more than stress. It is a change of life that's happening.
So if you start your whole hormonal panel and then you start, getting all these hormones back in, can you actually prolong or push away the menopause itself or not?
So you won't push away menopause. The average age for menopause is 51, but you will start doing protective things for your body. So your hormones do a lot more than, people would think. So it helps with your skin. It helps with your cognition, the way you think. It helps with your mood. It helps with your heart health. It helps with your body as far as like how much fat you have versus muscle, as you're going to lose muscle with aging because of hormonal changes. So doing it at a younger age, you're going to actually anti-age because you're supplementing while it's starting to go low to try to keep you more normal. And then you can continue into menopause because you're going to flatline. So you're going to raise yourself back up to younger levels.
Okay. Wow. It's like I learned so many things. I'm like, I usually not the one who goes to the doctors, but this year, that's my resolution. I want to take care of my well-being. And I started with peptides, awesome. Which is, I love those kind of things, first of all, because you don't really have to check anything. You can just like, okay, and you do it at home, which is such a convenience, but what kind of peptides there is out there?
So there's some that are kind of gray market that you're going to hear a lot of people using that because I'm a licensed provider, I can't do those. But the ones that are still approved, I can use. And some of my favorites are like NAD and glutathione. I think those are...
Oh, I didn't know they have those. But this is the ones you guys have to... I cannot do it at home.
No, you can do it at home.
Oh, now they have peptides NAD that you can take it home. Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's injectable. So you would just see a provider like me. They'll make sure you don't have any contraindications. And then I'll send it to prescription to a pharmacy. They'll ship it to your house. So that's what I do with my online telemedicine. And
that's amazing. So what are the different peptides for?
So the NAD and glutathione, I think they pair well together, but the glutathione is a master antioxidant. So it helps get rid of toxins and free radicals in the body. So it also helps with the glowy skin. So you'll feel a lot more energetic when you're on it. I think you'll sleep better. Your skin looks good. And then the NAD is more like the powerhouse of the mitochondria, like the cells. It gives like energy. So that one helps with repair of cells in the body. It's really abundant in like the brain and the muscle it's needed. So that's an important one too. And those levels, we have those naturally in our body, but they decline as you age. And so that's why they're like anti-aging when you bring them back into the body again.
I see. I'm taking the glow one. So I don't know what's like, there's 3 ingredients and my daughter looks like she knew more about it than me. This generation, they know everything. And they already, her boyfriend, he's an athlete. And when he got injured, the doctor actually told him to do peptides to speed up the recovery, which is amazing. When I came home and Alexis, my daughter, she was like, oh my God, Mom, you're using peptide, which is this. Yeah. She knew so much about it, which to me was mind blowing to see this young generation, you know, like operating completely different and knowing so much. And I was like, well, okay, you tell me like how many million, even, you know, the doctor told me the things, but she knew more, which is amazing, because I guess I'm just catching up to all the new things in technology, especially with technology. I feel like I'm always catching up. But the medicine related, like I try exosomes. Do you do exosomes too, or?
I have done them on my skin, and I actually did a stem cell infusion in Costa Rica at RMI. So that was really neat, because I wanted just to see like how would it like boost and go into my body and repair things, and will I look younger after? And I felt really good at like after doing it. Yeah.
So what was it? Just one time you did it, and even after one time you already felt the difference?
I did. I felt a lot more like clarity in my thinking, and I just felt energized for a long time. You're supposed to do it at least once a year, though. I'll get back there eventually.
But still, if it was once a year, it means the effects, you know, stay long with you. You don't have to constantly, you know, maintain, because even the peptides, it's like you have to give yourself a shot every day, which is kind of annoying, because, you know, the first thing you get up and you do the shot, and I'm like, oh my God, my both sides are already hurting. Like, wow. I'm like, is there any other solution to, you know, the peptides that you don't have to do it every day?
Well, so it's best to do injectable when you do peptides, or any sort of medication, actually, because you bypass what's called the first pass effect through the liver. The liver will take out a lot of the medication, and then it goes into the gut. If you were taking oral, it would go into the gut. But you go straight into the bloodstream when you're doing injectables. If you're taking an oral medication, it has to go through the liver, it has to go through the stomach and the intestines. And with the way people are nowadays, like, I mean, we have kind of a more unhealthy nation. Most of our guts are not processing like they should. We have a lot of gut disease. So it's inflammation, things like that. You are not pulling out very much from anything you take oral. You're maybe getting like 15 to 20% of whatever you put in. Versus,
so all those vitamins is basically a waste.
You're still getting some. So,
but in order to get, if you're only getting 15%, to get to 100, you're gonna have to eat the whole box of this thing. This is like
a bottle.
And I would imagine even your liver is like, hey, that's enough.
Yes,
you're killing it.
It is. It's very different in modern society because what we're exposed to. And the other thing is, like, taking vitamins, because of the way farming practices are now, they're trying to turn over crops so quickly, and they have pesticides and things like that. The food that we're eating is not deriving the vitamins and minerals like it used to, like in the 1950s, from the soil. So what we're eating today is probably another like up to 30% less vitamins and minerals than what we used to get back then.
Got it. So we already have a deficiency in a lot of vitamins, minerals, and then on top, even if you take that vitamins, you only get a little bit, you know, boost in that.
Yes. So you definitely, I mean, helping, the vitamins do help when you take them for sure, especially if you're not getting like a well-balanced diet, but you have to take all those things into account. And the modality, if you do injectable versus oral, that's a big thing to think about.
So you can also take vitamins as injectables?
Well, like B12. So
yes.
Vitamin C is available in that sort of way. But yeah, it's going to be another stick with a needle.
What vitamin would you recommend, or a few ones, if a woman comes to you and she's like, you know what? Like, I just want something easy, but that will help me to feel better, look better, or what would you recommend her?
So I definitely think vitamin D. Vitamin D is a pro-hormone. So you want to take that so you have the basis of like building blocks for your hormones.
Okay.
I would say vitamin C, just because it's like boost your immune system, kind of anti-inflammatory in the body. Those are like two of the important ones. Calcium for your bones, because as we start getting older, that's harder to maintain the like bone density. and we start to get like osteoporosis and things. We want to prevent that. So those are three like definitely important ones.
Is there certain vitamins that it's good to take with peptides for it to work better, or it doesn't really matter because peptides is in such a separate category that, they don't need any boosting?
Well, most of the vitamins, I would say, not necessarily help peptides, but help boost like your
overall
hormones, like pregnenolone or DHEA are building blocks also of hormones. So taking those are helpful.
I see.
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy the most right now when you come to work, working with people, or, just exploring what else is new? Like, what's your passion these days? Or maybe you thinking about something else, opening another, I don't know.
I think now I've accumulated so much time in medicine. I've been in it 20 years. And from the range of collecting dermatology and then skincare, aesthetics, and now wellness, the hormones, I've got this complete idea of how to transform the body. And now it's integrating it. It's educating people on it. It's, getting it out to the community.
Yes,
so
passing
women know.
your knowledge to others, which is so beautiful.
I'm like, at this point, I'm like, wow, like I'm older, and I'm like, if I can help other women to feel amazing in their skin, then that's what I want to do. So a lot more media, doing like magazines and local news and just talking about anything health, wellness, beauty is what I love doing.
And that's amazing. And I absolutely love when women share their knowledge and share their tips with others, because I believe that women should support each other. It's so hard already to be a woman and, to go through so many things, not just, not divorce or just being a woman and raising children and having a career. Sometimes it's too much. And we have this community where, you can come, I can come to you, or we have these gatherings and just share what we know. Mm-hmm. It's such a beautiful thing. Well, thank you, Erika, for coming and sharing your knowledge. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of viewers who are watching this are going to love all your, advices, and even just hearing your story of overcoming and doing a beauty pageant at 35. It's so inspiring. Like, I was like, why did I think about that? But hey,
still do it.
I can still do it. Yes. And I love it. Thank you, Erika, so much for coming to In Heels. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I go.